And we know that if you want to really stand out and excel, we said at the beginning we mentioned that we have to show our best and be the best at whatever we do. So as a Christian, how do we do this and make sure that our communication with God?
I'm not sure I got that.
Okay, the question is, what are the daily habits that make us consistent? What are the daily habits that make us consistent in our work with God? So I was saying that we need to stand out in our organizations. We need to stand out wherever we find ourselves. How can we do it that our consistency with God is not going to suffer for putting our all in our career?
So how do we strike a balance?
Okay, of course, you communicate with God. You don't cut off from the source. When you cut off from the source, you begin to wither. So regardless of whatever the challenge is, regardless of whatever your position is, you should continue to be connected to the source, because it's the source of success, it's the source of strength, source of everything you can think of. And another thing is we should surround ourselves with people of like minds. There are people that they will so discourage you. Even if you are trying to put your best to what you are doing. You know, there's this slogan people say, work no they finish, I beg. And something. It's not like you are overdoing. In even doing what you are supposed to do, you see people come to discourage you. Like the sons of the prophets, like we learned away from you. If Elisha has looked at it and said, it's cuckoo true, why am I even following this man? But he had a focus. He had a purpose. He had a goal. He didn't let all those people around him discourage him. So let's surround ourselves with Christians, people of like minds. Our friends should be people that will encourage us, not weigh us down.
Okay, ma. Thank you for that answer, ma. It's like, what are the things we do day by day to make us stay consistent?
Okay, praise the Lord. Well, I will say you should be a God chaser. I'm telling you, that's what I do. In spite of my tight schedule, I'm always on the road and all those stuff. I'm a God chaser. And every morning, after I've done the normal, all my yesterday activity, and I pinpoint where clearly this is actually God. That keep me alive, that whatever that I want to operate, I'm always looking for where everything. He's always God. If not for you, sir, this wouldn't have been possible. If not for you, this wouldn't have been possible. And I'll start counting my blessings. You see, when you wake up every day and you count your blessing daily, you are always going to strike the balance. You won't put God behind. You won't forget God behind, thinking that is your power, is your energy.
So that God is evident in your life and it will help you with your consistency. Thank you very much.
I have just one final question for Pastor Sunday. So what would you advise a young person that is looking to start a business? What would you advise that person? How would you advise that person? How would you guide the person on how to start, what to do, what to put in place?
The sweat equity. To be an entrepreneur, most of the time, my wife will wake me up in the night that, what calculation are you doing in the dream? You are juggling numbers I'll be calling numbers and using entrepreneur ordinarily. It's a tough job. It's a tough road. I won't discourage you, but what I'm trying to say is that if you are in a particular place now and they are paying you well, it's not everybody that is going to be, and not everybody has given the gift of being an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody rob you that, you have to start your own business. No. If you're in every place they are paying you well, stay there, but you can build wealth even with that money you are getting there. That is the area you need to learn. How to build wealth with what you are getting. Now, but if you have the spirit of entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, just be ready for what it takes. So the first advice I will give you is that get up every morning, dress up, show up, and never give up. And never give up. I don't say no to any place I want to enter. That's what I do tell my team. That company, we want to start selling to them. And we will sell to them. Don't worry. We have the backing of God. We're going to get it. But it wasn't like that when I started. It wasn't like that when I started. In fact, when I started, I used to carry my bag and go to banks with Bibles inside my bag. And I'll be going to banks, discussing with those at the counter, all those bankers. And that's the way. Some places, they will turn me down. Some places, the security will tell me, oh, this guy, you don't come again. You don't come again with this Bible. It's only Bible that will be inside that bag. Oh, but to glory of God today, we no longer carry bag. We carry containers. So, but it all started with carrying bags at the back, and we never gave up. We kept on pushing. So, if you are starting now, just be ready to give you what it takes, and I assure you, you will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Sister Sarah, I have one final question for you. And the question is, what skills should young professionals develop to stand out positively? What are those skills we need to develop to stand out positively?
Okay, as for skills, we have the soft skills, we have the hard skills. Soft skills like communication skills. So many of us need to learn how to speak. You know, you need to interact with people. We need to learn how to write. We need to even learn how to listen. Because in my profession, we see different people. The young, the old, the elderly, everybody. And you see some that are willing to complain to you, but they don't even know how to communicate. But you need to learn to listen to know where they are going, rather than argue with them. We just gave you this medication last week now. What happened? This. You know, the man might be confused with the medication, but you didn't listen. And before you know it, you've not impacted that life. And the patient goes back, taking the wrong thing because you didn't listen to let him know that, okay, these packs are different, but they contain the same thing. It was when you came the last visit, you got this. But at this visit, this is what was available. We must learn to have communication skills. We must learn how to leadership skills. Because it's not until you are the head of department before you be a leader. Even among your team member, your caliber, your level, you must show leadership skills. We must learn to lead. You know, lead is not that you must always be jumping in the front. No. They should see you as somebody they can talk to. They should as somebody that can help out when there's a problem. You know, problem-solving skill is another thing we should have. You know, and the Holy Spirit is very good at helping with that. At times, I get stuck like, oh God, how do I do this? There's a prescription I need to sort. And I'm like, God, I don't know how to even start. God, just help me. And all that. And before you know it, even communicating with the patient, I'm like, God, how do I say that this man does not get angry? And, you know, something like that. You're able to solve the problem. And the man is not all, you know, tearing the roof on your head and all that. So problem-solving skill, communication skills, a soft skill, leadership skills, whatever skills your hands can find, please, I want us to learn it. Then for hard skills, like Bra Faika said, proficiency in some certifications. Let's not just sit. Like it was the current place I was. Yes, I learned how to do PowerPoint, but I didn't use it while I was working in that business center because I was in a school and where what they do mainly was to type. So my typing skill was very good. It was where I'm currently working that we get to do presentations. So I learned that PowerPoint all over again. I didn't say, well, somebody should just do it for me. No, I'll say, oh yeah, all you Gen Z, we have lots of them. They come as interns. Please come and help me. I don't know how to do this. Even today, my keyboard was not working. We had two screens, so I had to be using the laptop keyboard, and it was slowing me down. So when the Gen Z came, I was like, well, I beg, please, this keyboard is not working. What happened? So I started changing the ports. I was looking, and I was ready to learn, because what if it's not there? What if it's my organization, and I need to solve this? Maybe the IT is not around for anything. There are some little things we can do that we don't have to wait for any organ to help us. And with that, you will see that we get better and we get improved.
Thank you very much for that good answer. We can clap if you want to clap. That also on point. It's not only about you being knowledgeable about everything. You have to develop yourself. Communication skills, leadership skills. You have to be able to learn, relearn, and outlearn. Thank you very much for that. God bless you, sir. God bless you, ma'am.
All right, so before they leave, do we have anyone in the audience that has a question for them? Okay, we have someone from the back.
There's someone behind there.
Please, can you come forward?
Praise the Lord. By the special grace of God, I by name David Bright. I was being invited by a member of this church. I'm not a member of this church, actually. I've been invited. And I'm very glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here. And my question is of two types. Number one, I don't know when I'm going out of the main topic, but it has been in my spirit to ask this question. It's about marital life. Assuming that someone like me, I've proposed in my heart that I wanted to give birth to just 3 children. Just 3. Maybe by the special grace of God, my first child happened to be a triplet or twins. Let me say, at the age of 40 or 50, I've already had the 3 children that I want. So, and you know that as a human being, we are being covered by flesh. There is a possibility that me and my wife will still meet. And believe that we all understand what I mean by that. So, is it advisable or is it biblical to go for family planning or use protection? That is my first question. And the second question is that maybe you are a worker under someone, and that person is something that you know that this thing is of 2,000 naira, and your boss is selling it at the rate of 5,000. You know that if your boss said this thing 2,000, there is a profit on it, but it has gone extra mile, 5,000, and you have tried to correct that boss. It's your boss, so you are not the owner of that organization. It's your boss. He pays you. So you have tried to correct this person, and this person refused. Is it okay to stay there as a Christian that you know that your questions is not that okay with that thing? Your questions is judging you that this thing that we are selling at the rate of 5,000, which is, if you sell it at the rate of 2,000, it's still okay. Is it okay to stay there or to go for another place to work? That's my question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those questions. Actually, we're happy to have you, and notice in your heart, God brought you here for a reason. And thankfully, we have our seasoned ministers right here, our marriage counselor, and our renowned businessmen to answer your question. So I'll be pushing this to them, and they can give you clarity.
Okay. All right. I would like to say welcome again, brother. You are in the right place. And we are your friends, we are your family. You're welcome. On the issue of family planning, you have proposed in your heart to have children. Thank God God has given you 3. I also proposed to have 3. But when I went through it, I had to pause. You get it? You know, his ways are not our ways and all that. Yes, you need to continue to meet your wife. Because we have young people around here. And as a medical professional too, I'm also a member of the medical team. We preach family planning because we need to look at the situation. She had a triplet. How did she go through it? Was it an easy journey? Was it a journey that it was almost taking her life? We always need to weigh the risk and the benefits. And we preach family planning, not just because of the risk in terms of health or life. We also look at ability to cater for these children. Because we look at it that you bring forth children that your salary cannot even cater for. Yes, it's God that will provide. That is what most people will say. Yes. But at least, currently, as you can see, yes, they'll say act by faith. Yes, I agree. But are you able emotionally? Because some people have many children. They have the money, but they don't have the emotional capability to train those children. Because they can't just train them. So we preach family planning. Protection is also a form of family planning, but it is it's not 100%. Most of them are not 100%. But the other types, I'm not here to teach us about the types of family planning. But of it all, what is God telling you? I'll come to the spiritual. If God says, go ahead, I am not going to say, stop giving birth. But if there is a risk involved, the life of the woman is in danger, your finance is not able to cater for it, is affecting you mentally. You get home and there are children everywhere is scattered, and you still want to born. Well, the Lord will give you the grace. I think I'll just stay there.
Quickly on the note of profit margin. Now, you still need to go back to your boss and ask some fundamental question. I used to think that way before while I was working with her. You see, you might be thinking that thing can be sold conveniently for 2,000 naira. And your boss is loading that profit margin on that product because of loss that you are going to incur on another product. There are sometimes you will have some material in your warehouse that have stayed there for a longer time, and you need to clear them out. And you now decide to crash the price. Yeah, your boss can decide, okay, this material cost us 2,000 naira, and this thing, you don't stay here. Let's bring this thing down to 700 naira. You understand? Now, he's still going to look for that loss on another product that he's selling. And that product might be the one that you are thinking that 2,000 naira is okay. Now, he is now decided to be selling it for 5,000 naira. I'm not saying some people are not greedy when it comes to, I'm not disputing the fact that some people are greedy with profit margin. You see, profit margin is a little bit complex. In fact, that's why I often hire people to help me when it comes to that, because there are some other overhead that you did not see. There are some other things that you did not see that is coming up on that very particular product. So when you see something of such, always ask your boss, sir, what is happening with this product? It be like say they sell this thing very high. Oh, please, can you tell me, are they here, they learn? Can you tell me what thing will they do? Your boss will be able to explain to you. You see, this one. This is the reason why we go sell that product for that 5,000 naira. I think and that we do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Ama, for the presentation. I have a question as regards how do you strike the balance between, now if you are talking from the boss level, maybe you are the head of a team, how do you strike the balance of not being looked at as wicked and also still trying to ensure that you are shining God's light in a place? For example, where I work, there's a nurse that works under me, and some days ago we had some heated conversation because she's like, you're not the first person I've worked with, and what are the things I'm asking for? Basic things. This place is scattered, it's not your house. You can't keep things anyhow in a public space. Always correct. She always does something wrong, so I always have to correct. So sometimes I go home and I'm like, it's my own too much, but really I realize that if I keep on keeping quiet, it's a private space. With time, this space will look like a government space in quotes. And so I always go back and reflect that, should I just stop talking or stop correcting? And so that it's not like I'm a wicked, she has worked with other people, it's not like that, blah, blah, blah. So how do I strike that balance between ensuring that excellence is still maintained and at the same time having a good relationship with a junior colleague? Thank you.
All right. We are to correct in love. I've had to work in a place also, and I needed to make some corrections when I was employed there. It's about the fridge. We usually keep some medications in the fridge, and when I was employed, I saw that people will bring food from their house and keep it in the fridge, and you will need medication. You'll be looking for it in the middle of egusi and ewedu and all sorts. And the number one rule I made was nothing, if it is not medication, I must not see it in the fridge. And of course, they had meeting on top of my head. And there's this thing that say, ekulelong, like, is the enemy within. And so I got to know, of course, there'll be some people that will like you. And they came to tell me that, please, like, I should be careful. That I just came and I'm already, and I said, I'm doing the right thing. So what I did was, I called a meeting. I was working with some people too, like in the pharmacy, and I explained to them in details why we shouldn't allow it, why we should do standard things, why we should do things ethically. We should not begin to, like I said, I don't want to be in people's good books with regards to doing the wrong things. I don't want it. And gradually, they were bringing, and I said, please, it's either you bring a warmer where you keep your food. You know, I just was providing solutions. And I said, number one starts from us. Anybody in this pharmacy, if I see anything in that fridge, as soon as I resume, I will remove it. Of course, it was war. But with prayer and correcting in love and making them see, I keep talking until they see reason with it. So, sis, I'll just say that you keep saying it. At times, you go all out to do it. At times, you make them see the result or implication of doing that wrong thing, like not doing it well, infection control and some other things, you know. And of course, it's a public space, like you said. You don't just put things anyhow. It's not meant to be there. So just correct that in love, then prayerfully, just pray for God's wisdom on how to handle it. It's not the same way you talk today that you will talk tomorrow. God will just teach you a way to go. God will tell you, we bring a scenario, and you just say, you see, I told you, can you see now? And God was so good. There was this quality control company that now came to the hospital. And one of the things that was listed us for the hospital to do was that fridge. So it was an opportunity. I just sat on it like this. I said, you see when I was shouting. You get it? So things like that. We'll keep saying this, trusting God to help us. But of course, they are human too. They've been doing this for years. You don't expect a change in one day. They were doing that thing several years before I came there. It was too harsh, drastic for me, yes. I knew it. But I saw the caliber of people I was working with. If you are too soft, it will be difficult to stand your ground. And immediately I saw that, I just hit that immediately. And God helped me. Honestly, it was God. And over time, they got used to it. When they peep and they see me in the pharmacy, they will just go. When they peep and they see me, they will just go. And it was just God.
Okay, there's a...
It's on this, our friend's question about business. His boss selling something worth 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira.
Correct, ma'am.
There is an adage that says, "Iṣẹ́ ni ọmọ aláṣẹ jẹ, òwò ọmọ aláṣẹ jèrè." In as much as you don't, I don't know, maybe the scale they are golo, you don't push, you don't manipulate. If I bought something 500 naira, 10 people may come, they will not buy it the same price. I don't know whether I'm talking. I will not sell that same product at the same price to everybody. First of all, I will assess you. In this pharmacy, what you are buying 2,000 naira in Akute, you will buy it for 10,000 naira in Keja. That is why you are a business person. Iṣẹ́ ni ọmọ aláṣẹ jẹ, òwò ọmọ aláṣẹ jèrè. When you trade, when you do business, you are supposed to make profit. You must not be static. Let me tell you, when I was selling soft drinks, the Coca-Cola will bring the trailers, they will put it down. And I will sell because once people know that your price is still low, they will come and carry everything at a lower price. And by the time you go back to buy it, you can't see it to buy that way. So in as much as people are coming to buy that your product, and you say it's 10,000 and they are ready to pay 10,000, please take it. You have not, I don't think you have stolen. It is the price, I don't know. I'm no more in business, I'm no more in work, I'm now, but I thank God. When I was young, my mother would give me things to take to the market. She would tell me, "Eleyi 50 naira, ani." But if you are able to sell it, and I will sell it 70 naira, I will sell it 80 naira. The remaining on it, she will take her 50 naira and give me the rest. And that inspires me. And it is still in me. So, young man, he is training you how to make profit, how not to be static. Once you sell it for that 2,000 naira and you think you are making profit, by the time you go back to buy that thing, you may not see it to buy for 3,000 naira. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Sorry, please. I just want to say something. Also, the overhead costs. I'm not a business person, but I worked with a business pharmacist before. She had a bookshop, supermarket, a pharmacy, everything all in one in it. And I noticed that she had a branch in Okpebi. The price we sell something in Omole was different from our Okpebi price. So when we don't have stock and we go to get medication from Okpebi, we have to remove the price tag and put our Omole price. I think you need to find out. It might be overhead. The way they rent shop in Okpebi is different from Omole. The caliber of people there and what they expect, because some things they will feel it should be imported drugs they should buy. So she will bring the imported and put price on it. Well, I don't know how that works, but those might be things you need to understand, because that was what I learned from her then, why she was doing those things. Because she said her overhead over there, where she had a pharmacy, was a complex where they own gen for them 24/7 and all that. She was not having to buy fuel, all those things, they were just more expensive. I think that was her own reason. I'm just saying that you could also find out. You know, it's a way to learn, so that when you start up your own, you will learn the right thing and do the right thing. And of it all, have the mind of Christ when you do whatever you want to do. The people that are coming to buy, please, have mercy on us.
Okay, pray. Just on that note, for example, let me take Bible selling, for example. Even if you go to Bible Society, they will tell you Bible is a ministry. I supply Bible and I supply books. Now, to be candid with you, all the profit that I am supposed to make on Bibles, I load them on the books. Because obviously there is no profit on the Bible. But I've discovered that the Bible